What's up everyone, how are we doing today? So as the title already says, and as you can see here, today we have Cyber Dogmatika, Cyber Dragma. I prefer that name a lot more, but you know, TCG, awesome name changes, stuff like that. So just to show you guys basically how the deck works and functions with each other, it is a ton of fun, and I can't wait to show you guys the deck list here in a couple minutes. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We try to put out a lot of good content for you guys. And we have other Cyber Dragon variants and some other deck profiles for you guys, along with our How to Beat series, which we're going to start hopefully soon, where Brock and possibly Lewis will also join me, and we will talk about current top decks and engines in the game and how to beat them both generically and cater towards the Cyber Dragon group a little bit, because, well, that's who kind of helped us start out as a channel and build to where we are now. We appreciate everything everyone has done for us. So moving forward, you can go ahead and join Nerd Knights Gaming Facebook page. We just kicked off 3 more tournaments today, and we got some ultimate rares we're going to put up soon. So make sure you do that. And again, subscribe, Team Set Pass, right there, the little button down below. Without further ado, let's just show you the basics of this. So since they hard lock you out of your extra deck, you're going to go ahead and do all your summoning and cyber plays first. You can also bait out hand traps, things like that. That's why they're really good, because they're a pretty good deck on their own. We're not playing a full-on deck, which you'll see here. So in this case, we summon Hertz, and we're going to leave it there because then our Forbidden Droplet can send it, getting our core back to our hand. That's why it's here. I am 100% not worried about Mega Fleet nor Fortress Dragon. Just in case, though, you can absorb that, or if you want the extra attack. Otherwise, in the draw phase, you can always use All Mirage Effect on Infinity to make it not be able to be destroyed by card effects. So with this hand, we go with Dogmatika Punishment, targeting one face-up monster your opponent controls. Send a monster with equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard, and then destroy that monster until the end of your next turn. This part kind of stinks, but it really doesn't conflict as much as you would think. Reading the card, this won't work, you can't do nothing. Well, we have everything we need as a follow-up here. We're going to get our core back so we can summon it, search out our overflow, and we're going to have another multi-pop. We still have our negate. We got enough to deal more than half the damage, blow up their field with overflow, and then we can deal the other 4k next turn. So kind of good there. And again, we have our Forbidden Droplet as another initial negate to kind of just stop them, slow them, and do all that. And depending on what their field, board, hand, everything like that is like, will dictate what we send off of our punishment. We could send an Intis and get another pop, or we can send the Titaniclad, is that how it said? The fusion monster, to get out like a Fleur, who can attack again and boost our monsters and really apply pressure to get the game over with now. So yeah, that's kind of it, and let's get on to another replay quick for you guys, an actual one, and then we'll do the deck profile. So as we can see here, we're playing against a pretty casual deck in the competitive server. A Winged Dragon of Raw deck. I'm assuming these are some of the cards coming out in the numeric Legendary Duelist one. Would be neat to see Raw actually competitive. Hand's kind of awkward. Can't really do a whole lot, but we have ways to play and not let our opponent do a whole lot. So setting a bunch of cards. Let him do his danger stuff. Ooh, another Sphere Mode, so that's why he really kind of got stuck there. So not sure exactly why he set those, but he did, so moving forward, we go into an Overload Fusion, which is just perfect for us because now we completely go off doing our cyber plays. As you can see, we are using all the Dogmatikas to their fullest ability in this replay. I do have the other match versus, or other game versus this guy as well, along with one versus Dinos, and I don't remember what the last replay is for you guys, but we'll have 3 more after the deck profile. Without further ado, here we are, guys. So started out with a pretty pure Cyber Dragon list and got rid of some hand traps and go second cards for the Dogmatikas. And we tested out with like Maximus and that, but I feel like a lot of people already kind of have their ways around that, and they just send other cards to plus, like Intis, and pop your cards. Nova, get a free Makaba, stuff like that. So I didn't really want to rely on that too much, so we go for the Fleur and get a free negate, or we go for the Dogmatika with the with a pop, possibly a pop 2, and at the same time possibly getting a free monster out of it in the end phase. So yeah, we're going to kind of talk about it quick and get on into all the how, why, when, where, everything good like that. So it almost transitioned into cyber traps, and in that case, kind of a small discussion in the Cyber Dragon group. This card does not conflict nearly as much as you would think it does if you read it. So Cyber Traps was kind of where I was starting to go with it because of that. Then I was like, well, if that's going to hard lock us, why not play some more of them so we can get out, like, sending our Titanic Lad, and then we get a free Fleur who can go up to 3k and boost our Ecclesia up to 2k, and that attack boost does stick, so it can keep piling up. Things like that if you don't want the multi-pop, if you want to apply pressure and get a body out, since you won't be able to go into your extra deck. So we kind of added them into the mix as well, and it's been playing really nice, and I like it. I put it pretty much on the same competitive level as the Cyber Numeron, and yeah, so we also were trying the Shadal Winda play, where you would go with your Maximus and send the one Shadal Al Capone, something like that. And we were actually sending Herald of the Arc Light, because then we could search out a Saravis and get our Shadal Schism. And then we have our Saravis that we can protect our Winda if they try to, say, impermit or like a targeted negate like that. So then you just pitch your Saravis and stop that, and then Winda is still live without wasting your infinity negate on something like that. So it worked out really, really goodish. It wasn't consistently doing what we wanted the most, and just felt like a lot going on. And the extra deck was super, super tight then, because you had to be able to get a dark monster in the graveyard, links in the graveyard, or, well, extra deck monster, I should say, into the graveyard for your Maximus, and needing like the fusion materials and everything. It was really tight and just kind of not as good as I wanted it to be. But without further ado, guys, you're here to hear why we play what we play. Cyber Dragon, now that we're all out of breath. 1 Cyber Dragon, 3 Cyber Dragon core, because summoning it and getting to our overflow is really, really important. Was considering playing 3 overflow, but ended up cutting it for other cards. 3 Cyber Dragon Hertz, pretty standard, really good extender. 2 Naxters, I still like it at 2 even in my trap builds. 3 Galaxy Soldiers, I know a lot of people like it at 2, but I like it at 3 since I want to see it all the time. For our engine monsters, we have triple Ecclesia and 2 Fleur. So anyone who does not know what Dogmatikas do, basically if there's a monster from the extra deck on the field, you could special summon them with different effects, but then you can't summon from your extra deck for the rest of the turn. So that's how we do our Cyber Dragon plays first. And if they negate your, you can like summon your core, they negate it because they're not expecting this game one, and then you just go into an Almirage, and then you do Dogmatika play, and they're not ready for it whatsoever. But Ecclesia adds a Dogmatika card to your hand, so that's really good. You have your Fleur, who it's a quick effect. If you have if there's an extra deck monster on the field, you can special summon it. If you have another Dogmatika monster, being our Ecclesia, so you can special summon it on your opponent's turn in chain to their card, and then it also negates a card. Keyword being, or quote, I'll actually read this out word for word for you. So a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, if you control another Dogmatika monster, you can negate the effects of one face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn, when your Dogmatika monster... the rest doesn't matter right now. So, yeah, you can quick effect, special summon it, negate another monster on the field. Why is that good? Because it's all one effect, so it doesn't reactivate on the field, so you can chain it to their card's activation, summon it, negate their activation. Stop a card, free negate. Always good. If a Dogmatika monster attacks, all Dogmatika monsters you control gain 500 attack, and that does stick with them. It is not until the end of the turn, so that's another really good effect. When I was doing the Winda play, fun fact, on your turn you can special summon your Fleur and turn off your Winda and go off. It was really fun doing that to people, and they get very salty very quick because they had to play under Winda, but you did not, because that's your one special summon, shut off Winda, and then you can continue to do everything you want. 3 Cyber Emergencies, pretty standard. 1 Repair Plan, all you need. Kind of focus on getting to overflow quicker, so I did put Cyber Load back in to the main because we don't want to run out of our Cyber Dragon monsters. In testing, it actually saw it once, kind of wish it was something else, and so far have yet to actually want it, so it really might come back out once again. One Overload Fusion, triple Nadir Servant, because it's actually better since you can then send your Titaniclad to get your Ecclesia, special summon it, get your punishment, end phase your, because he's in the graveyard, you can get your Fleur, so you get the multi-pop and the negate if you open your Nadir Servant. That's why it is absolutely insane. Double Forbidden Droplet, because you can say chain your, or use your overflow, and then you can Forbidden Droplet since there's no cost or nothing anyway. It's not like you have to banish like your field, so you could actually say if you had a core on the field, overflow and droplet, you could use overflow and then chain your droplet, send your core and your overflow to the graveyard, and then overflow still banish your core out of the graveyard, and you're gonna pop a card and negate 2 cards in the process. So it just has a lot of really neat interactions here. 2 overflow, 2 punishments, 3 infinite impermanence, double summon limit, triple crackdown. So a lot of the time I do choose to go first game 1. If you go second, it's not the end of the world because the Dogmatikas and Cyber Dragons both have their advantages going second, so it does help, and you can play through some stuff. Obviously, 3 hand traps means that if they have a lot of disruption, you're probably not breaking through, unless you happen to see like your Forbidden Droplet as well. But going first, if your Cyber play gets negated, because a lot of people are playing hand traps, believe it or not, despite the fact that we're actually not for this build. So if your play gets stopped or anything like that, or if you just happen to not open your Cyber play and you can do the Dogmatica play, backing it up with a summon limit or a crackdown makes it really, really strong. Extra deck, 1 Mega Fleet, 1 Fortress, double Rampage, because we actually kind of wanted to use our fusions despite not actually coming up. 1 Titaniclad, like I said, you can send it to apply pressure and get a monster. If you open your Nadir, you can get it for your complete quote-unquote full combo. Double Intis, because if you want to double pop off your Dragma punishment, send your Intis, Dragma pops, then Intis pops. Also keeping in mind, Intis can pop your overflow, and you can chain your overflow, blow up their field further. Intis pops your overflow, and then you search out your extender that you may need. So keep that in mind. Good interaction to blow up your own card if you need to. Makaba and Nova, because, well, our opponent might be playing Dragma. Lots of people are. Another reason we have 2 Intises there. Then Nova Infinity for the combo, for Infinity, obviously. 1 Almirage, Consistency, Seeger, and Verde for OTKs. And I actually sometimes will use like one of my Fleurs and other cards and go into BLS Link, because it's just a really strong monster. Can't be targeted or destroyed. That's really good, guys. Not really going to talk about the side deck, but generic side deck, wasn't really using it in testing whatsoever, because when I test these decks and get replays and stuff, I do like to just take the main deck and play it and see how it does going first, how it does going second, figure out what I would rather do with it without actually siding. So siding is pretty standard, you know, you side cards for your matchups. Obviously, they're going to help in those matchups. We all know that. I just like to see how my main deck handles different decks and going first and second. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you stuck around and enjoyed listening to me ramble on and talk. I know a lot of you do say you like how in-depth I go. We will continue to do that because this channel is all about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most part. 1% of the time we toss you guys a budget list or a not real competitive thing. Ban list talk coming soon, or why I actually don't think we need a ban list. Yeah, I don't think we need one. But anyway, guys, enjoy the replays, and until next time.